Welcome to Data Conversion Task. I want to talk to you a little bit about this specific task and kind of talk to you about the whole exam, the whole process of building and populating a data warehouse in particular. Now, we're about to move into just a section of maybe 4 or 5 videos where we're going to load one of our dimension tables using SSIS, and we're going to load the fact tables, and then I'll leave the other dimension tables to you as a homework assignment, if you will, and you can play with these. What I want you to understand is that when you're trying to prepare for an exam like this, and you're trying to use a tool like SQL data tools and integration services, and you're trying to use this tool to build and maintain a data warehouse, you're talking about a really big topic. And what I want to talk to you about here is one particular task, and I'm going to use this as an example because to really be ready for this exam, you need to be familiar with each one of these tasks. All right. Now, this would be about a 3-week course to go through here and try to teach you about all these. But notice as I click on them down here on the bottom, and by the way, if you don't see this, it'll look like this, and you can make it pop up. This will give you a brief description of what each one of these does, and then you can go out and find samples. Now keep in mind, Microsoft's notorious for making these very complex partial samples that are hard to figure out sometimes, okay? But notice you got a lot of things going on here. Then, once I put a data flow task into my project, and I go to that data flow task, then I get a whole nother set of tools that I can use over here. And I hate to tell you this, but you need to be aware of these as well. Now again, it would take quite a long time to figure out or to teach you what each one of these are, the ins and outs, and peculiarities of each one. And so you'll notice here data conversion, I'm going to use that one because it brings up a very real issue. And in the process of loading our dimensions table and probably the fact table, we're going to run into a data type issue. So I want to show this to you. Now keep in mind, again, you need to just look through each one of these and play with them a little bit. Get hands-on with them. That's really going to help you understand how to answer some of the questions on the exam, and it's going to make you much more proficient out there in working in a data warehouse world. Let's go back here and talk just a minute about this data conversion task. What does it do? Well, it does data conversion, right? It converts data. Now this is especially useful when you've got data type mismatch situations. Now SSIS, or Integration Services, implements very, very tight, strict data type rules. Now in earlier versions, and the farther you go back through the SSIS versions, and then the king of looseness was DTS back around SQL Server 2000. And if we were trying to move data from one table to another and the data types were closed, then it would just let it go, no problem. But that all stopped around about SQL Server 2005 with Integration Services, and then they continue to tighten it up. The data types simply must match to move this data, and admittedly this will drive you nuts sometimes, okay? It will not assume data type conversions. Once it sees anything that looks like any kind of possible data type issue, it's going to error that out. And a lot of times, though, it won't even really tell you. If there's one thing that'll drive you absolutely nuts about the integration services environment and building these packages is that you very seldom get an error message reported to you that really points to the specific error, okay? So we're going to use this data conversion task to solve a Unicode, non-Unicode mismatch issue. And in this course, what I'm trying to do is to expose you to simple examples of some of the problems you're going to run into and some of the challenges and situations in implementing and loading and populating a data warehouse. And I just want to kind of light the fire, so to speak, and give you the ammunition that you need to go out and really get your hands on this thing and work with it a little bit and make some magic happen, okay? So we're going to use that. Let me back up here just a minute. We're going to use that conversion task to solve a mismatch issue. Then I'm going to show you how it affects the rest of the package, some little nuances, and once you see this happen, it'll kind of open your eyes on how sometimes just dragging one of these tasks in doesn't fix the problem. You have some more work to do on farther down in your data flow. Okay, so that's what I want to just kind of give you a warning about here. We're about to, next 4 or 5 videos, we're going to load the customer and fact internet sales dimension tables for the little data warehouse that we're building as an example. And we're going to run into a data conversion problem, and I'm going to go use this task to correct that.